Hi, Jess. Thanks for taking the time to meet with me today.
Of course. Sorry, I'm a little short on time, but I'm so glad you could still come by.
Of course, of course. Thank you. So I noticed it was your first year in Duluth. What kind of made you want to come to Duluth and leave Northern Michigan?
Oh my gosh, when I did the campus tour, it was just amazing. Really focused on athletes, and that's both the collegiate level as well as intramurals and just overall students. So I was just really excited to be a part of this now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's funny enough that one of my cousins actually attended Duluth, and I got to spend a little bit of time up there. And it's a beautiful city. I completely understand why you made that decision.
Yeah.
I also took the liberty of looking at the way your baseball team's been doing this spring, and I see you guys haven't been off to the start you expected. Could you run me through that a little bit?
Yeah, we are on a 7 game losing streak as we speak. So that's not always great. However, I do think we have a fantastic coaching staff, really good players, just little fine tuning and things like this. So overall, no, they're still a really great team.
Yeah, awesome. Here at HitTrax, we really pride ourselves in helping teams make that next step, which again I'll get to a little bit later. But I just wanted to let that be known. And secondly, I'd like to just take the time to appreciate you, making time to meet with me today. I think naturally you'll have some questions for me. Obviously, I'll have some questions for you. Does 15 minutes still work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, just to give you a brief agenda of what this meeting's going to entail. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, then I'll buzz through a quick presentation about the value we could provide to your team. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
I would. I'd love to see that.
All right, awesome. So first off, I'd just like to get a gauge of how often does your baseball team train per week,
I'd say like 3 to 4 times a week.
and how many hours does that training entail?
Some is like with the smaller, like individual,
Okay.
players for whatever position they're playing. So the assistant coaches do that, so it can vary. Are you asking where it takes place?
No, how often? Like how many hours in a week?
Oh, hours. Yeah, usually it's about 1 to 2 hour practice.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that would be roughly 6 to 8 hours probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know with the Duluth weather it can be tough to always get outside. So how often are they training indoors?
A lot of it has been indoors, and unfortunately this year, we've even had to move some of our home games just because it hasn't been able to be where we had originally planned. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest challenges playing baseball up here. I completely understand that. And another question I just have for you is like during those training times, do you find that some of your players get pretty distracted pretty easily? I know that there's only so much some pitchers can do and whatnot, but I'd like to get a gauge of that as well.
Yeah, we try to keep them engaged and we rotate them through, but there is some downtime between things, of course. Yeah, and we did go to spring training in Florida. That was one time when they got a full outdoor for a full week. They're so
Yeah.
excited.
How was that experience?
Good, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Another question for you. Do you currently have any technology in place in your baseball program or no?
Technology for like what?
Just like baseball tracking technology, anything like that. Like it could be as simple as a radar gun or any tracking analytic tools.
I mean, I've seen them use a few things, but honestly, being new to my position, not that familiar. I think it's pretty low tech at this point.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
Um, what do you look for when you're purchasing equipment for your teams? Like, what are the most important things that need to be in place for you to purchase?
Well, obviously, how individualized it is for the players, if it's appropriate for everyone on the team. If I get buy-in from the coaches and assistant coaches, that's pretty much my green light.
Okay, awesome. And so, could you rank? I mean, you only gave me two options. Could you rank? Which one's most important if it's individualized or if it's coach's approval?
I mean, I would like to have both, but
Okay.
obviously, I just want to make sure that everyone on the team is able to like access and use it. It's more conducive to like meeting our budget because we're supposed to have supplies and equipment for all athletes of each sport. So
Yeah.
I'd say that's important, but obviously the buy-in from the coaches is more important.
Okay. Awesome. I'd also just like to ask one last question. What do you expect from typical companies when you're working with them in terms of like, whether it's purchasing weights from, let's say, Rogue? Like, what are your expectations as the athletic director?
My expectations, just good communication, expectations and knowledge on not only how the product itself works, but any support, warranties, things like that.
Okay. And then actually, sorry, one more question. I know you oversee the whole athletic department, but do you also oversee all the decision making going on in terms of purchasing new equipment for your teams?
Yes, the final choice, but like I said, I do lean a little bit on individual coaches for different sports before I make that final choice.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna buzz through, kind of what I've uncovered here. So you guys are training 3 to 4 times a week at 1 to 2 hours, a lot of it being indoor. Occasionally some lack of engagement out of your players. What you're looking for is something individualized, but you really want that coach's approval,
Mhm.
as well as you don't have much technology in place and you just want good communication out of a company. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, well, awesome. I'd like to segue that into a presentation, so to show a little bit of how we could provide that value and, hit your core values.
Great.
So I'm a Midwest sales rep with HitTrax. My name's Luke Ricker, as I've stated earlier.
Mhm.
So a little bit about HitTrax. We were founded in 2012. We're a baseball and software data capturing and simulation product. We also work with all 32 MLB teams, as well as a bunch of Division I programs around the country as well. So I thought that's something I would highlight.
That's good.
So here's a picture of our HitTrax sensor. Like I said, we provide real-time stats, key performance metrics, as well as video that keeps your players engaged. I think that's something that you guys would really benefit from. I'll allude to a video later, but it really keeps your players engaged and wanting to train just because of that video experience.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And here's our complete system. It would come with the sensor, the touchscreen PC, as you can see right there. And that will include integrated video that gives a high level of analysis. It also works for baseball, softball, adapts to all levels, and I'll get to that a little bit later as well. But
So when this is priced out, it's all one package. Does that include the software as well, or?
so it includes the sensor and the PC, as well as just general batting practice mode. Again, thank you for asking that, but we do require $25 a month for the advanced analytics, but again,
Okay.
I'll get to that a little bit later.
Perfect.
So here's what we provide, the value we provide. We provide value for all three positions, so hitter, pitcher, and catcher. This is kind of the display of what happens after the ball's hit. You can see how far it goes, the exit velocity right there, as well as the launch angle and the distance. Some value we provide to the pitchers, it shows pitching velocity, your strike percentage, and some other key metrics. Could you see how this could provide a little bit of value to your baseball team?
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
All right, awesome. So here's a little bit of video that shows how it works. So as I alluded to earlier, you got to see the ball flight as well as the exit velocity. Right away, it doesn't take that deep of a dive into the analytic portion of it, but
Mhm.
it'll give you that on a separate screen once the round is done,
More
or
detail.
whatever mode you're on. Yeah.
Okay.
And so this would be the deeper dive into the analytics. I'm not going to take too much of a dive, obviously, because you're not the baseball coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what half of this means, so.
Yeah, okay, but so here's it pretty laid out pretty generally for you. So like I said, exit velocity, launch angle, the distance, your point of impact, and the strike zone analysis. So you can tell, like, in the strike zone, how hard you're hitting the balls, how well you're doing. It shows your average, so your 4 or 5 on the inside corner. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty some high tech analytics.
Yeah.
Could you see how this could provide a little bit of value, or do you have any questions on that?
I mean, I'll be honest, our coach is sometimes a little apprehensive to change overall.
Yeah.
Kind of just an old school mentality and just likes to do things the same way.
Yeah, I 100% understand that. That's kind of something we're used to hearing around here. We are a pretty, new school technology company. Why do you think that he's so apprehensive to change? Is it just he doesn't know how to run it, or could you?
I mean, my thought is just because things, kind of creatures of habit, like
Yeah.
I've always done it this way. I do think that sometimes can stop from, utilizing some of the newest things that are available.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. We do offer training packages as well. I don't think I'm gonna get into that in this current meeting,
That's
but
okay.
that's
Yeah.
something I could, send you the details on later. Are you okay with that if I move on from
Yeah, of
this?
course.
Okay, awesome. So here's a little case study from an MLB player. Like I said, we work with all 32 MLB teams. So this guy named Matt, he came in, he wanted to, start hitting more home runs. He was more of a singles hitter. And he, like I said, sought out to hit more home runs. On the left, you can see his first session, and from that, his coach was able to grab all the data and analytics and saw that he needed to improve his launch angle. So from here, it's right around 12 degrees. And then his second session, when he improved and noticed that he needed to make a change there, it improved roughly 3.5 degrees. And you can see that all of his key metrics increased besides ground ball percentage, which is you want that to
Right, of
decrease,
course,
obviously.
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'd give a little testimonial from an actual MLB player if that helps you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the coaches would love to see that too, and that makes me feel like it obviously works with improving their skills.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, if I move on from here.
Of course.
All right, so here's what you were alluding to a little bit earlier, our pricing, we're right around $1,500 for the base, or $15,000, sorry, for the base. That includes the sensor, the PC, as well as batting practice mode.
Mhm.
But it's $25 a month if you want unlimited analytics, which would give you that kind of spread, that chart from the case study that I was showing you,
Right.
as well as access to league play. And I think league play is something that provides a lot of value, because I'll get into it in the next slide. That really helps your ROI. It allows people to play simulated games, and you're allowed to, you know, rent out the product itself.
Mhm.
You okay with all this?
I am, I think I'm just a little concerned on like that big investment, that upfront cost, like how can I really tell the coaches it's gonna be worth, paying that upfront cost?
Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up. That actually alludes me into my next slide. We offer various financing plans. So we offer a 1-year plan, which is $1,246 a month for a year with no interest rate at all, which I think is something that we do that's really cool, because we want your players to be as good as they can be, as well as a 5-year plan, which is $250 for 60 months, but we do charge a 5% interest rate. Is this something you guys might be interested in?
Yeah, I would love to maybe have the coaches maybe demo or see some of the videos so they can kind of experience it themselves. But I would be okay if they think it's a good fit to do like a 1-year plan.
Yeah, awesome. I'd also just like to touch on the ROI real quick. So this is an example of somebody that has purchased our product and they've charged a $100 membership for a player to come in and use it. And so if you used, that 5-year plan at $250, you literally need 3 players to sign up for your league to make money off of it. So that's a true, a real key point that I wanted to get across.
Sure.
But as we kind of close out this meeting, I'd love to get an agreement set in stone today, but before we put pen to paper, I'd love for you guys to come down to our Minneapolis office and really give our product a try and put it in front of your coach's eyes, because like you said, he might be a little apprehensive. But does that sound like something you might be interested in?
Yeah, I think if you don't mind, maybe a couple of the players and coaches come down, I think that'd be great. Once they decide, I'll happily sign any agreements.
Yeah,
that
that's
need to be.
perfect. That's perfect. How does this Friday sound?
Yeah, I'll look at their schedules, but it should work either Friday or Saturday. They're gonna be traveling, so.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to meet with me today.
Yeah, thank you.